Welcome back to Spectrums, everybody. Our next guest is a supervisor for the Department of Corrections Community Corrections Employment Program. Please welcome Terrance Evans.
Hello, Terrance. How are you?
All right, how are you doing?
Good. Glad to have you.
Hi. For those of us who don't know, can you tell us what the CCEP program is and what it does?
Okay. We're with the Department of Corrections. It's the Community Corrections Employment Program. And we work with individuals that are just released from incarceration.
Okay.
So we try to provide them with resources ranging from educational vouchers to work experiences if they never worked before, sporadic work history. We'll pay their wages while they work so that they have something to put on their resume. We offer financial incentives to employers that hire them. So if there's employers out there, they can definitely contact me. Where we'll offer that financial incentive, so if they're on the fence as far as wanting to hire these individuals, we try to put together a package that the employer is willing to accept as far as wanting to hire this individual.
That's great.
What's the criteria for participating in the program?
They have to be individuals that are on extended supervision.
Okay.
We do work with individuals that are on probation as well, but we're trying to reach the individuals that are just getting released.
Okay.
So within that 90 days from the release, their agent needs to contact our office by referral and refer them over to our program. From there, I have 2 employment coordinators that provide services, and they'll work with them throughout the whole process of trying to get them employed.
So you heard Jerry's story and how he said he had trouble getting a job where he would get the day to come to work, and then they call him the next day and say, hey, you can't come because you're a felon. What do you say to people like him who are out there trying to get jobs and they can't?
Yeah, the job market's tough. That's one thing you have to realize.
For anybody these
yeah,
days,
for everybody.
right? Yeah.
So you're competing with other individuals that may have the degrees that are displaced, and the individuals that don't have the criminal background.
Yeah.
So you have to really market yourself. You know, there's a reason why people buy Nike versus Adidas, and it's how you market yourself and trying to get training, education. And I commend Jerry for what he's trying to do. Jerry's one of the people that, and I talked to him in the back, that he kind of slipped through the cracks. So we're going to try to get him some services because he's eligible for training dollars and those kind of things. But you have to, like in a week, you're going to have to fill out a lot of applications. There are employers that are going to discriminate, and you can't stop that.
Right.
The one thing that you can change is how you sell yourself to those employers and bringing enough to the table where they feel comfortable about hiring you.
What is a success failure rate for people who go through your program?
I don't have exact numbers, but
Right.
the individuals that usually take advantage of our OJT services, our work experience, and they use all services are usually more successful than the individuals that maybe use just 1 or 2.
How can someone get connected with the program?
They can contact our office. The number is 414-229-0735. And then they can ask for myself, Terrance Evans. I'll guide them in whatever direction they want to take as far as getting in touch with their probation agent so that they can get referred to our program.
So they have to come through probation or parole in order to get in. They can't just get out of jail and then come to your program.
No, we want to have that referral because the one
Okay.
thing is that you want to have that contact with the agent so that they know that you are trying to better
Right.
yourself
Yeah.
Okay.
and that you are taking
That's
those
good.
steps.
Yeah.
So it's just keeping those lines of communication
Yeah.
open with them so that we can get the necessary information so that if we're going to place you at a work experience, for instance, and all our work experience are nonprofit, we want to make sure that they're getting that it's the right fit with the organization that we're working with and the individual that we're servicing too.
So
Do you
they-
help?
go
Excuse
ahead.
me. Do you help families as well of the people?
We don't. The only thing that we do as far as families is if they're coming to use our we have 2 resource rooms. We have one on the south side on 9th and Mitchell, and we have one on Port Washington Road. So if they're in there seeing their agent or they're seeing one of our staff, any family member can come in there and see what resources we have available. We have kiosks which links them with different resources around the community, transitional jobs. We have computers where they can do job search, they can do follow-up calls to employers. We can look at their resume, we can fax their resume. It's a great program. I think it's just not used enough, and I think a lot of people don't take advantage of it.
But are they even notified that this program exists when they're in
Yes,
jail and they're
right.
leaving
Yeah.
to go into parole and probation? Do they get this information saying this program exists?
Yeah, well, I have 8 employment coordinators that I supervise. This is a statewide program.
Okay.
So my employment coordinators are going into the prisons and they're doing presentations as well for the reentry social workers.
they're familiar.
But still, people are still, like you say, when you go to the hole and things like that,
Yeah.
that's when you may
miss it.
miss programming.
Right.
So everything sometimes doesn't go through. We are in the process of having intranet, so the participants, individuals that are incarcerated, they'll be able to get on the website and kind of see what's going on and see the CSEP program.
That would be good.
So do you have any memorable participants that has done or has
Excel.
excelled your
being in the
expectations of them in
Well,
the past?
I expect everybody to excel, first of all. I'm not trying to look at the failure piece of it. It's just about how much you're willing to do in order to be successful. Some people move a little bit slower than others. But we have individuals now that run their own businesses,
It's wonderful.
that provide services that may be like AODA, alcohol and other drugs. We have supervisors. So we do have people that are successful. Like I said, it's about using the services to go to school, if you want to go to school, to receive training, and to be able to pay those employers or offer that financial incentive to those employers.
So what's been the most rewarding thing about what you do?
Helping people?
Helping people?
Yeah, helping to make change. I think that's the biggest thing.
Is that what led you into this position? Because my question was, how did you even get involved
Yeah.
with this role?
Yeah, well, I've been with Department of Corrections going on 5 years.
Okay.
And before that, I was a human resources recruiter.
Okay.
So I was the one that saw like a lot of like the applications when they came through and things like that. So I see why people. It's basically about disclosing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't disclose what they have on there,
Yeah.
which is a
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, put it down, and then you got to kind of work through it and sell
Right.
yourself through the application to get
Right.
to the next level.
So what is the difference if, say, it said, ask for my criminal background on an application, and I say, well, I was convicted of selling drugs and went to jail, versus I didn't tell you. I get a date when I don't tell you, and then when I do tell you, I don't even get a phone call.
Well, at least, I guess my thought is just putting down that you have the criminal background and what you were convicted for, it isn't enough.
Okay.
So you have to bring a personal side to your application. So your application is an extension of you, and that's what I try to tell people is, what have you learned from the situation? Yeah, you went to jail for a certain thing, but what did you learn? What training did you get while you were incarcerated? Those kind of
Should they
things.
put that in the application as well?
Yeah, it's that little 2 lines that you have on the application isn't enough anymore. You need to come up with a paragraph that explains what it is what you've learned from your situation. That's how you sell
Like
yourself.
a C attached. type
Right.
Yeah,
So
see
they can see
attachment?
you as a human being instead
Yeah,
of
because all they see is a piece of paper, and they see
Right.
that you have the criminal background. That's it. What have you done to sell yourself on that application? And a lot of people
Right.
aren't doing that.
That makes a lot of sense.
They're probably not knowledgeable.
Yeah, and that's why it's important, for agents to send those referrals to our program. We work with Department of Workforce Development. They come in and do addressing the criminal backgrounds. They work with them on resumes.
Okay. So
They
those
tell
are
them
the
about-
skills that they
yeah.
take away.
And they'll
Okay.
let them know about the job centers, recruitment, things like that.
So with your program, and you set people up with jobs, do they still have to go through the application process, the interview process?
Well, when they first come to our program, we have an application that we do. So that allows us to kind of assess them and see where their strengths and weaknesses are.
Okay.
But we already have developed work sites across the city. So these work sites are churches, food banks, places like that, where they can go in there, they'll interview, and then that just gets them started as far as that work history,
Do you
which
help
is
them with the
important.
interview process and kind of how to present themselves
Like
and
make
all
a
that
mock-
stuff?
Maybe a
Yeah,
mock
yeah, we
interview.
can mock interview. We pretty much can help them with any aspect of employment or training that they may need.
What about like clothes? Because even though some of
Yeah.
them may get out, some people don't have the support, and then they don't have the money.
Yeah.
So how do they present themselves if they don't? All they have are their baggy jeans or whatever it is,
Yeah, one thing that they want to do is definitely connect with their agent to see what resource their agent has as far as for clothing. Then, if they're coming through our program, then we'll try to connect them with other resources too, as far as for clothing, to get them interview ready
Okay.
and that kind of thing.
So guys, all is not lost if you've been to
there
prison.
is-
No.
Terrance Evans is here. He can help you.
the same day.
We'll be right